Good morning. It is actually Sunday morning. I usually record these on Saturday morning and then put them up on Sundays. But not this week. It's been a hard week for a lot of reasons. I've had some family stuff going on. I've had personal stuff going on. And it's been tiring. But it did make me think about something that I wanted to talk about. And this is kind of the reason, well, it's related to the reason that I am writing a book about my experience with mental health. Specifically the process of after therapy and when you're just trying to live the things that you've taught and manage your medication and all of these things are changing. Because it's exhausting. It's good. It's really good. It's an excellent thing to be tired from, but it is so tiring some days. And I had a small meltdown earlier this week where I just ended up sitting on the floor crying and telling my husband how much I hate my disorder and how hard it is to move forward in life unsure sometimes of if your excitement or your interest is real or if it's just something your disorder has latched onto and is telling you is important and is your focus and is the priority. And I've been doing all these things lately that have been, oh my God, they're so great. I've been changing the way that I work and the way that I look at work. And I have the possibility for some new work that I'm really interested in, and I don't feel scared of it. I feel confident in my ability to do this. It would be a new challenge, but that doesn't worry me. And it's something I would really like doing, and I think I'd be really good at. And I've never gone into jobs feeling that way before. The job that I work part-time right now, that one I went into and I was like, yeah, I could do this. I can totally do this. This is good. But even then there was nervousness, and this time there just isn't. I'm confident in myself, and I know that I want to do it, and I know that I can do all of these things, and that's great. But I'm not used to that confidence. And this week was, I was busy at work, and I was tired, but I was still working well, and I was still, I was able to take care of myself. I was able to prioritize physical activity and meditation and journaling, and it helped so much. And it wasn't even work. I just listened to myself and I did what I knew I needed to do. And that was great. But it's also new. And there were 100 other little things that all came with this. And it's so good. But even when something is good, it can be exhausting. And I just had to sit on the floor and cry because I was so tired from processing all of this new information that it didn't matter if it was good or not. There was just so much of it. And that's something I know we forget to talk about with mental health recovery. I haven't found a better word for it than recovery, but that's what I'm calling it. We don't talk about the fact that it's so tiring, and the exhaustion doesn't just happen in therapy. I think most of us know that therapy is hard. and most of us who have been in it, and we know it's hard. It's worth it, but it's hard. But after therapy, and after finding a diagnosis, and after all of the things that are supposed to be hard, and after things start getting better, that's when it's exhausting. That's when you just sit in a room and your mind is trying to process the fact that you've spent a week doing things that you have not been able to do in years, or in my case, that you never figured out how to do because your trauma or your disorder prevented you from learning these things about yourself when you were in college or when other people would have learned them. And it's so good. It's so amazing to be able to do these things now. But God, it's tiring. This week's little episode is not going to be very long, but I think it's really important to acknowledge that dealing with your mental illness and dealing with the exhaustion that comes with addressing it and the hard things that come with addressing it don't stop with therapy. I graduated therapy almost a year ago. And I had my diagnosis for bipolar disorder a little over a year ago. And now is when I am collapsing because I'm tired, not because things are bad, but because they're good. And that's something I've had to work really hard to understand, is that it is just as valid to be exhausted because you are processing all of this new, beautiful, good information as it is to be tired because of therapy and changing medications and confusion and depression and anxiety and whatever else comes with your particular brand of mental health or mental illness. And it's taken so long for me to be kind to myself. I had my little meltdown on Wednesday night, I think, Wednesday or Thursday night, and I turned off my alarm for the next morning and I let myself sleep. And I took my morning slow and I got my coffee and I journaled and I did all of the things to take care of myself, and then I went to work. And I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that, to have that type of control. And then the next day I had some more personal things happen and I just did the same thing. I gave myself grace and I gave myself time, and I would never have done that before. I think that's pretty much gonna be the gist of today's episode. Is that it's okay if you're exhausted because everything's good. It's okay if you're exhausted just because you are processing this new information that you didn't think you would ever have to process, or you didn't even know you had to process. It's okay to be tired after therapy. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have it all figured out and going well. And even if you do, that in and of itself can be scary and can be tiring, and that's okay. So if you take anything else from this, other than my rambling, please Just be kind with yourself, no matter where you are in your process. I think this is the shortest episode of these that I have recorded. But I'm going to let you go finish your coffee. And I'll talk to you next week. Be kind to yourselves, friends.